Hey everyone, thanks for listening to the Grow Your Life podcast. My name's Jeremiah Krakowski, and on this podcast we talk about ways for you to grow in your life and in your business, to reach your goals, to live a bigger life, and to just do a whole lot more by making a lot more money, having better relationships, better health, wealth, you name it. Growing your life, that's what this is all about. Listen, if you're not in the hashtag Grow Your Life Facebook group, be sure to join it. There's 1,600 people just like yourself that are growing in their life and in their business. And you can ask any question in there. There's not a stupid question. You're not going to get judged for asking an inappropriate question or something that's outside of what should be asked. It's a resource for you that if you don't know how to do something, ask it in there. So make sure to join that group, hashtag Grow Your Life, on Facebook. Plus, listen through the other episodes of this podcast. There's over 127 episodes now of the Grow Your Life podcast. And I believe that they're really, as a body of work as a whole, they're a masterclass, a mentoring program. If you go through them, you will be able to build a business to 7 figures just by going through all of these podcast episodes. Now, today's episode is all about taking action and not waiting to figure it out before you start. I see a lot of people in business, they are waiting until they feel comfortable enough. They have it all figured out. They know all the ways that things are going to happen, all the ways that things are going to pan out, all the things that they should do before taking action. And then when they get conflicting information, they stall because they hear one thing from one guru over here to do this on their social media page. They hear another from somebody over here, and they have analysis paralysis, which keeps them stuck from ever doing anything until they feel certain enough to take action. Does that sound like you? Or have you ever felt like you need to have all the answers before you get started? That it's not wise to get started until you know all the right stuff, until you know all the answers, until you know all the things to do when you get started. If that's you, that's what this podcast is for. Listen, the number one thing that's going to help you reach your goals is to take imperfect action, even when you don't know how to do things. But I get it. That might be the hardest thing for some of you to ever do. Many of us in our lives, especially if we've made mistakes, if we've messed up, if we've fallen flat on our face, if we've lost a lot, if we've made a lot and lost a lot, if we have struggled to get forward momentum and to gain progress, we believe that the only way to be safe, and our subconscious tells us this, is to make sure that we have all the answers, we have it all pre-planned ahead of time so that we can prepare for the worst while we hope for the best. We're waiting to make sure that we have it all figured out, all the ways that things could go and all the right actions, and that we've learned all the things, that we've learned the perfect plan before we get started, and that's the right way to get started. Unfortunately, when it comes to entrepreneurship and business, that is how you will constantly always lose, because you're going to be behind the curve. By the time you figure it out, everybody else figured it out, and now there's no opportunity in that place. So business is about speed of action, figuring it out as you go. As an entrepreneur, you have to shift your thinking into, okay, normally, even if it's your normal nature, even if it's your normal way of doing things, that you wait until you have it all figured out before you get started, even if that's how you've always done it, you have to retrain that part of your brain if you want to be a successful entrepreneur. And what do I define as a successful entrepreneur? Not just a solopreneur, not just somebody that works basically is overworking a job that they're not working for somebody else, but they're working for a bunch of clients. But somebody that is an entrepreneur, somebody that starts a business, not working in a business. They have other people that work for them in the business, and they make usually above 7 to 8 figures. If you want to get to that place of 7 to 8 figures, you have to start to take imperfect action without everything figured out, and be okay with things not working out. Be okay with things failing. Be okay with not having all the answers as you go. Now, can you make a good 6-figure income not doing that? Absolutely. And for some people, that's all that they want to make is a good six-figure income. And I appreciate that. But to be honest, there's an easier way. It's actually easier to make more money. Some of you have convinced yourself that because it seems easy or is easier, that it's wrong. And that the easy path is the wrong path. It's actually easier to make seven figures than it is six figures. Because you're not having to manage and do it all yourself. At that point, somebody else is doing the work for you. Other people are working for you. Other people are building with you. Other people are doing the work every single day while you are the founder, the entrepreneur, the builder, the person who builds that business, the one who is connecting people, and you're managing staff, you're managing employees, you're doing the strategy, you're putting all those pieces together and leading a team of people. That's an entrepreneur. Somebody that gets up every single day, takes risks, regardless of judgment from other people, regardless of how they feel today. They don't worry about, am I doing this right or am I doing this wrong? This is the right way Guru A said, and this is the right way Guru B said, and I'm stuck and confused because so many gurus say to do different things. That's not what an entrepreneur does, because they don't pay attention to that. They get up in the morning. They don't really care what other people think. They don't worry about what other people think about them. They don't worry about whether they're doing the right or wrong thing, because they know there's not a right or wrong, one truth path to success in business. You see, that's the lie that so many people have been sold, is that there's one perfect way to be successful, that there's one perfect path to reach your goals in business. When the truth is, there's multiple paths. One thing I do know, every single path in business requires you to give up being the one doing all the work. Every single path in business requires you to stop being the one that has your hands in the weeds of everything every single day. You make enough money that other people can do the work for you. That's the goal. Make $20,000, $30,000, $40,000. Now you have enough staff to hire essentially a team of 3 to 4 people to do all the things that you've been doing. And if that's hard for you, there's usually connected to some sort of pride, ego, or insecurity, some reason that you're finding your identity in your personal ability to be hands-on with things, which is going to limit your ability to be a successful entrepreneur. Your ability to be a creator, your ability to be somebody that makes something happen. And so if you want to be somebody that creates the future, if you want to be an entrepreneur that creates things that people haven't done before, you're going to have to bend the rules a little bit. Work outside the box. Stop looking for the right way to do everything. Stop waiting for the perfect path of right, and believing this fantasy pipe dream that there's a perfect way to do stuff. And you just start doing. You just start taking action now, imperfectly, even though you don't have it all figured out, even though you don't know how it's all going to play out, even though you don't know how things are going to go for you, even though you may not know exactly how it's going to connect, or if it's going to produce a result, or if it's going to create the kind of result that you're looking for. Successful entrepreneurs don't worry about everything going their way before they get started. They don't worry about making sure that things go how they want every single time, because they know the truth. Failure is the only way to reach your goals. And by embracing failure, that's how we move forward. If we are working so hard all the time and all of our energy is spent on never failing, never making a mistake. Our entire life focus is on doing it all perfect, never being judged by everybody, never pissing anybody off, never doing it wrong, never making a mess, and always doing everything perfect, which I get it. That might be how some of you have lived your life, and that might be the only MO that you know of how to live your life because of safety and security, and you probably had some pretty traumatic experiences in your life that taught you that. You experienced some things that taught you that if you're not perfect and you don't do everything perfect, then you deserve to be punished and beaten to the ground until you do it perfect and get it right. And I'm sorry for whoever convinced you of that. I'm sorry for whoever convinced you that anything less than perfect is worthless. You are worth so much more than what other people have told you your value is. Your ability to succeed is that much greater. And you will do so much more as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, by not waiting until you have it all figured out before you get started. And you just start. You start with step one. You start with the first step and you figure out the rest as you go. You become, okay, great. This didn't work out. Oh no, it's the end of the world. I'm going to die. No, you don't do that. You say, great, that's awesome. I'm so excited that this failed. I'm so excited that this didn't go how I wanted it to. Could you do that? Could you rejoice with exuberance and insane happiness when things don't go the right way for you? Because you know that it's an opportunity to try again, to get back up again, to be tenacious, to keep going. Could you be so happy when things don't go your way? Because it's a chance for you to try again. That, my friends, is what it takes to be successful as an entrepreneur, where you take risks, where you love the process, where you love failure, where you embrace messing up and making mistakes as a good part of reaching your goals, as a necessary part, and you know that. That's what's going to take you further. It's time, my friends, to stop waiting until you have it all figured out and have all the answers before you get started. Listen, if you've been following me for any length of time, I got 127 podcast episodes where I walk you through how to build your business, the mindset, the right strategies of how to put the pieces together, the first steps to do for anybody's starting point. I have courses that are less than $100 on my website that walk you through setting up your website, setting up and building your courses, creating Facebook ads, creating funnels. I walk you through every single nuanced step of what it takes to be successful. But you don't have to figure it all out before you start with step one. You just get started. What's stopping you? What is keeping you from doing that? What inside of you tells you that's impossible and that's a bad thing for me to do? What is it? We have these messages in our brain that tell us that if I make a mistake, I suck and I'm worthless. And I better never, ever, ever fail. I better always, always, always do it perfect, or I better not do it at all. And that's the message that we're believing, that we're living, that we're walking out in our lives, and that we're stepping out every single day and living and then waiting for some magical fairy dust to fall down to make our situation change. That one day some fairy godmother is going to give you some magical formula to be successful, and you're following shiny objects here and there and this way and that way. And some guru says they had the best plan to figure it out, and this one has the best plan to figure it out. My friends, there's no magic path. The only way to be successful is to get started, to take action, to move forward, to start imperfectly, to train yourself to no longer think that there's only one right path to success. That there's not one way to reach that goal that you have. And start believing that. Start believing that the best way for you is to break past indecision to stop waiting for the ideal solution to manifest itself in front of you, and to start taking trial and error, to stop waiting for the one perfect truth to reveal itself to you, and to start moving forward today with the one thing that you know that you've been putting off for a year, 2 years, 3 years, 6 months, 2 months. What's the one thing that you could start with today that you've been putting off because you're not quite sure if that's the right way to do it? What have you been waiting for to do? Start with that thing. Start with that first step. Don't even think about what comes next. Do that thing, even if it completely crashes and burns. And if it does, good. Because that's part of the process. And you're going to rejoice and be happy that you get to go through the process. You know the difference? Most people, they never go through the process. They never take action. They just sit around and talk with their friends about fancy little ideas of what they might possibly do and never do anything. Or what they are doing is clearly not working. You have to break free from your own pride, your own ego, your own need to do perfect, your own need to look right, your own need to appear perfect and do it all right or not do it at all, and that you have some standard for yourself. Oh, I hate this one. I have standards for my life, so I'm not going to do it that way. It violates my standards to take action imperfectly. It violates everything inside my spirit of excellence to try it before I have it all figured out. I'm sorry, but that's a cop-out. It's fear and worry. That's all it is. Fear and worry is the only reason that you are not taking action right now. And you need to start taking action in your business. You need to start building something in your business. Stop waiting until it feels perfect. Train yourself that trial and error is the only perfect way to do something, and that the key to success that most people miss because of their own pride and ego and being lied to and believing lies for whatever reason, sorry that life has taught you that, has trained them that the only way to be successful is to always do it all perfect or never do anything at all. It's time for you to start taking action, do the work, start now, even when you don't have it all figured out before you start. Start with step one and do that one thing. Because you're going to learn a whole lot by doing that, way more than you ever would waiting to plan for success, to hope to possibly one day have the perfect path of perfection to do anything. You need to break up with this crappy belief that there's one path to success. And realize that the only path to success is imperfect action consistently every single day. And that the guaranteed path to failure is waiting until you have it all figured out before you get started. That's it, my friends. There is nothing. If I can help you get this, it would shave 10 to 20 years off your learning curve. Yet some of you are just addicted to that 10 to 20 years of wasting time because you think that that's how the right way to do things are. And something inside of your brain just has you convinced that that's the only way to do it. And to not do it that way would be wrong and possibly even harmful. I'm sorry. The harmful thing to do would be to wait until you have it all figured out. The right thing to do, the only right thing to do, is to stop waiting to have it all figured out and to start taking action towards your goals in your business right now, even when you don't have all the answers, even when you don't know what's going to happen next, even when you don't know how it's all going to play out for you, that you start today to move that needle forward. Imperfect action beats one single moment of perfection. 1,000 at-bats beats one home run. Listen, Michael Jordan missed thousands of shots, and yet that's how he became the greatest of all time. Tom Brady misses hundreds of throws in his football career. What if they sat around and started crying like little babies on the sideline and said, you know what, I can't throw straight, so I'm just going to not throw at all because I got a standard of excellence in my life. You'd laugh at them. It's ridiculous. It is. And yet that's the exact way, the exact mindset that so many entrepreneurs have. That they're waiting on the sideline of their business until they feel like they can be perfect for one shot before they ever do anything. You learn by doing. You don't learn on the sidelines. You figure it out as you go. You don't sit around figuring it out and then take action. Stop waiting until you have it figured out and start moving forward imperfectly today and watch your life change. I truly believe in this more than anything else because I've seen it produce results in more people than anything else. And the number one thing that I have seen prevent people, they are this close, like a month away from making $1 million, but they would rather make zero because of their pride and ego of perfection and standards and spirit of excellence, whatever they've convinced themselves that they call it, or wisdom of sitting around waiting until they have it all figured out before they get started. It makes me sad because they're just believing lies about what it actually takes. What it actually takes to be successful is to take action imperfectly before they have it all figured out. To go the opposite of how they've lived every other moment of their life up to this moment in time in this area of entrepreneurship, and to do the scariest possible thing that they've ever done, to take a risk and move forward. That's what it takes to be successful as an entrepreneur, my friends. Anything else, you're going to be spinning your wheels. It's time to stop spinning your wheels, and it's time to start taking action and changing your life. Now listen, I'd love to talk with you about your business specifically and what it takes for you to grow and reach the next level. You can schedule a free 15-minute call with me on my website, jeremiahkrakowski.com, and we can talk about your business specifically and what you need to do to start to move things forward for you. As well, I have a course bundle where you can get all my courses for one low price on my website on ads, funnels, course creation, and website building. So check that out as well at jeremiahkrakowski.com. Grow your life, everybody, and we'll talk soon.